Hi, my name is Mikhail and I'm entering Fields of Track in Liverpool FC competition. The data for this challenge comes from last row and it contains goals scored by Liverpool from the last two seasons in Premier League and Championship League. It is a tracking data, however we could get some event data from it too. To start off, I thought of how can Liverpool benefit from this challenge. And what can we tell to them? And I looked what's next for Liverpool. And in 3 matches, they are facing their arch nemesis, Manchester City. And Manchester City has a very structured game of pressing. They are third with the PPDA coefficient in the league. And they are also very structured, and many teams struggle to get past their pressing. So, for me, the most important things when playing against a highly pressing team is finding the space, getting the speed of passing and the speed of players, and making the correct decisions. So that's what we're going to look into. I divided those questions in 2 groups, the questions for the build-up and the questions for the finishing. And the build-up of the attack, in my opinion, it is very interesting to see which players are able to cut the most players with their pass, so moving the ball efficiently, how much space does a player gain with the pass, so a space, and which partner does the player pass to, making the correct decision. And in finishing, I'm interested into looking at how fast are the players, which is very important, especially in a Liverpool style of playing, and how much space does the player get with his run. So gaining space and finding this space, especially in a scoring opportunity area. But we're going to talk about this a bit later. So first I looked into the passing map, basically who is passing to who in Liverpool. And here Trent Alexander-Arnold is a leader. He made 7 assists in this data, and he participated in 10 goals. Another notable thing is Robert Firmino, who made 4 passes to Sadio Mane and 2 passes to Mohamed Salah, who are the top scorers of this data set. Both scored 6 goals. And if we look at this Sankey diagram, we can see that Trent Alexander-Arnold has the largest route here, so he made the most passes. However, he is widespread over Robert Firmino, Sadio Mane, Divock Origi, and Andrew Robertson. And Robert Firmino works directly for Sadio Mane and Mohamed Salah. Another notable thing here is Jordan Henderson, who made a lot of passes, if I remember correctly, 4 passes to Trent Alexander-Arnold. So he has some part of glory into Trent Alexander-Arnold's assists. The first thing I looked at was cutting the players with your pass. So the best result for this criteria was Virgil van Dijk. He cut 9 players with his pass in a game against Bayern. And you can see it on the video. 2 lines symbolize where the pass started and where the pass was received by Sadio Mane. In between those lines, you can see that he cut 9 players. However, this is the only pass that Virgil van Dijk did in this dataset, so it's not very telling. Probably more of an outlier. The second best score here is Naby Keita with 4.5 passes per play, but he also did only 2 passes. And if we look at people who made more than 2 passes, the best result is Jordan Henderson, 4.3 players on average per pass, and he did 6 passes, so we can conclude that Jordan Henderson is probably the best person at efficiently moving the ball past the opponent. Another thing I looked at was gaining space with the pass. And here we can see a Voronoi diagram. I looked at the space that the Liverpool was having with Voronoi diagram at the moment of the pass and after the player received the ball. To exclude the outliers like Virgil van Dijk, who is mostly making long passes when he is part of the goal, I normalized this value by the amount of space the opponent had before the pass. A very good pass that gains a lot of space, but the one that is done close to the goal is still highly valued. And here the best result is once again Naby Keita versus Bournemouth. He gained 31.8% of the opponent's space with his pass. And the second best result is Trent Alexander-Arnold versus Porto, where he gained 31.2% of opponent's space. And you can see Keita's and Trent Alexander-Arnold's passes in the video on the slide. To look at the overall data for this criteria, I made a bar chart. And you can see that Naby Keita is leader here. Mohamed Salah also gets a lot of space with his passes, but if we look past the people who did like 1, 2, or 3, Sadio Mane with 7 passes gained a lot of space. So Sadio Mane is very important for gaining the space with his passes. So another thing I looked at was how fast is the player with the ball, basically the time of possession. And here the less is better because the pressing is all about coming onto players who are slow with the ball. And here the best result is Robert Firmino, who is on average is spending less than 1.5 seconds with the ball. We can see that Andrew Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold are also very good at this, and also Jordan Henderson. So these players are very fast at making a decision. Talking about correct decisions, I looked at the pitch diagram, pitch control diagram, and specifically at the goal that Liverpool scored against Manchester City in their first game of the season. The goal consisted of 2 passes. Trent Alexander-Arnold's pass to Andrew Robertson, and then Robertson's pass to Mohamed Salah, who scored a very beautiful goal. So here on the first picture we can see the situation of Trent Alexander-Arnold battling against Manchester City's pressing. And we can see that it is very high and there are practically no good choices for Trent Alexander-Arnold other than this midfielder here. However, the one lack of Manchester City pressing is that there is always a space on the other side of the field. And this is what Trent Alexander-Arnold exploited, given his pass, and it gained a lot of space for Liverpool and eventually gained a goal. So this was a very good decision here. Here on this diagram, he is actually sending a pass into Manchester City zone, but this is the first frame of the goal, so there are no velocities counted here. And Andrew Robertson is already moving there, so it's actually Liverpool zone here. And looking at the second picture, we can see that Robertson had 3 passing options here. One was Sadio Mane, the other was Robert Firmino, and the third was Mohamed Salah. And an interesting thing is Robertson chose not the less risky pass. For example, if he would pass here to Sadio Mane, he would give the ball to Sadio Mane with 87.1% of a chance. But he decided to pass to Salah, which was only 33% of a chance that this goal would Mohamed Salah would have reached this goal. However, there was a mistake made by Edison, likely, because he should have probably taken the ball and he was first on the ball if he went for it. However, he didn't, and Mohamed Salah scored the goal. And it was not the most safe choice. However, based on the action value, and we can see that this pass is going straight into XG zone, so the most likely to be scored. It was a very wise decision by Andrew Robertson. So looking at the speed of players, we calculated velocities for each frame and for each game. And the maximum speed that the player can get was Mohamed Salah. He got over 11.4 meters per second. This is an estimate made with moving average model. The second was Sadio Mane, and we can also see here their average speed per game. And here is Mohamed Salah run versus Watford, so his best speed, where he reached 11.4 meters per second. And the last thing I wanted to look at was how well players find space into the XG area, so the most scoring area. And here it is not calculated, it is arbitrarily chosen, the XG zone, because there was lack of data to calculate XG stats on. However, it would be interesting to see how this criteria performs on an actual XG data. And we can see here XG circles, and they are divided into 3 parts. And basically we calculated the polygons that the player can get into the XG zone, the polygons that are made with the Voronoi diagram. And the way we scored it was, if a player gets his polygon into the smallest circle closest to the goal, we times the area they gained in this place by 3. The second one we multiply it by 2, and the last one we leave it as it is, and then we sum it up, and this is the overall score. Here is the goal of Divock Origi versus Barcelona, and we can see that he's finding this place right into XG area. And we calculated this from the start frame to the frame of the shoot, basically as the last point where a pass could have been made to a person who found a space in this XG area. And the top 4 people who are best at finding the space were Robert Firmino, Mohamed Salah, Sadio Mane and Divock Origi. And here we can see they are average. So Robert Firmino averaged around 380 for this criteria. And Divock Origi also showed a very good average. However, it is probably due to that he plays less, and we did not see very much of a small gains by Divock Origi. And so to sum it up, we concluded 7 experiments. The key findings are Jordan Henderson, very good at moving the ball past the players of the opponent's team. Naby Keita and Sadio Mane are very good at gaining space with their passing game. Naby Keita does this in midfield, and Sadio Mane more finishing the attack. Robert Firmino is very good at moving the ball quick and finding the solutions very quickly. Mohamed Salah is very good at developing speed. And once again, Robert Firmino is probably the best player at finding space in the opponent's box. Once again, thanks to Last Row Fields of Tracking. For this challenge, it was very fun. And I hope to hear from you soon. And link to GitHub is in the description, where you can find all the code that was used for this presentation.